Hello, everybody. It's my pleasure to be here with you and to be talking about this fabulous issue about first language literacy and how to, connect to translation opportunities. My name is Mary Ruth Mendel, and I'd like to talk about how we can support vulnerable communities to do three things. Firstly, to break through language and literacy barriers by empowering those communities. Secondly, to collate data sets. And third, to connect with dominant language texts and digital technology. I'm going to use the Australian model as my example and to share our learnings with you. The inability to speak, listen, read, write, and comprehend in your home language or the dominant language used in digital programs shuts people out of technology use and concomitant life opportunities. It's a profound inequity and it can be changed. Home language is, in fact, the key, and community members are experts in their home language. They're well placed to do two things: to teach language development and literacy competence, and to populate digital products for teaching and learning resources, translation app interfaces, information apps such as health and cultural information. In the Australian model, we do that two ways. You'll see on the right arc, we have where adults teach others literacy skills so that when they get onto the digital superhighway, they're competent at navigating it. And on the left arc, it's about building home language resources for the teaching and learning, but also for another important application, and that is to interface with translation apps, because when you can interface, then you can have your language and you can connect with what's on the information superhighway. That's the goal. So let's have a look at Action for Inclusion and what is the Australian model. It's got two programs that we use. First of all, the Early Language and Literacy program for that right arc for the teaching and learning, and the Living First Language platform, which is the platform that actually collates and captures and displays the home language language features and collects the data sets, which are so important to go on to the translation application. Under-resourced, non-dominant language communities are in fact frozen out because they don't have the interface between their language and the dominant language for translation apps. It's the link between their home language and the dominant language that is what's going to help them connect with information and knowledge society. If they don't have that, then they miss out and they're digitally underrepresented. They can't do because they can neither read nor write in the dominant language, nor do they have a home language, assets which can interface with translation apps so that information can be translated into their home language. They are barred because they don't have these resources. So let me have a look and show you the Living First Language platform that does that special collation and displaying, because it is the crucial preliminary step before we can connect with translation apps and address the inequity and make it that we have equitable access to digital technology. Here we go. Here's a bit of a deep dive. You can see the portals there. And I'm going to take another little zoom into letters and sounds. And here you can see where phonics come alive, and it's multisensory, so you can listen to the alphabet being pronounced, whether it's the first sound or whether it's the second sound option of the alphabet letters. You can then listen to community members saying words. They can say the words in syllables, or you can hear them actually saying the words in, oops, where am I going here? I'm going the wrong direction. Hold on. Or saying the words in translating them into English. You can actually hear the translations in syllables also. So there's a good code switching that happens between the two languages. That helps to develop phonemic awareness when they listen to those speech sound options. And then, of course, building a wonderful vocabulary in home language and in English And it's not just vocabulary list of words, it's words that are illustrated with images that have got illustrative sentences that go with them, that have got connections between those sentences and sentences that come up later in these stories, in the libraries of stories and songs and cultural and environmental information. That's all connected with a fancy back end that interconnects all of those features. So what we end up with is children learning and young people learning to speak and listen, read and write, and we can download curriculum for more advanced competency building or for those who are beginning their journey and right at the beginning. Can you imagine being able to have home language stories being enjoyed in classrooms and libraries around the world? It's a very exciting concept. So we set communities up for success. The Australian model catapults these vulnerable communities as capable and literate participants. That's that right arc I was telling you about on the diagram. And it also provides the vital digital data sets that they need to be able to interact with digital opportunities such as translation and AI programs. Those data sets are the conduit to the information superhighway. They are the interface. This way, communities have practical assets that modernize their language into digital resources that are really useful in a plethora of applications. It's quality home language data sets that we really are key to make sure that it is quality, because translation apps are only as useful as the quality of the home language assets that are populating them. I also want you to know that the Australian model generates community approval and accurate approval of the content so that it is in their governance and it is on their quality control. Here's an article that was written by IFAP and published by IFAP. And you can see that there's a link there. Here's the definition of the Living First Language platform. Here's where we say that we've been doing this for 25 years and that it integrates speech pathology in with education. It makes communities vital and in control of the governance of their language. The next steps that we would like to put forward is for there to be a global 5-point plan. The goal is to close the language and literacy vulnerability gap. We would like to see that the program that I've just shown you is made available to all. We would like to first map the vulnerable communities, then secondly, identify the barriers that are really affecting them. Go ahead and deploy the Australian model or something similar, and then identify the interface opportunities in technology currently going around or emerging technologies in the future. Then, of course, establish and review and report back for continuous improvement. If you would like to continue the conversation, I'd love to have a chat with you. It's been a pleasure talking to you.